Troy will be playing in March Madness for the third time in program history after a dominating performance in the Sun Belt Conference tournament. Troy has put together a special season this year and finished as one of the top defensive teams in the Sun Belt this past season. They are a sneaky team that has been building for this opportunity over the past few years. Can they shock someone in this year's tournament? Man, I hope so, because I love chaos in March. But before we get into this, if you enjoy college sports content like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, let me know who you think pulls off a shocker in March Madness this year in the comment section below. Before we talk about how Troy made the tournament, let's talk about their history quickly to understand how special this is. Troy first began playing basketball under head coach Buddy Brooks in 1950. Brooks would not find much success going 3-15, and would be replaced by Leonard Serfustini, who would go 75-52. In 1956, John Archer would take over as basketball coach. Archer coached Troy State for 17 years, leading them to 3 NAIA tournaments, 3 Alabama Collegiate Conference titles, and 1 conference tournament championship. He would finish as the school's second all-time winningest head coach, going 302-186 from 1956 to 1973. In 1971, Troy would leave the Alabama Collegiate Conference and join the Gulf South Conference, leaving the NAIA to join the NCAA at the Division II level. Under Wes Basilia, Troy would make their first and second appearance in the Division II NCAA tournament in back-to-back years in 1976 and 1977. He would also lead Troy to a regular season conference title in 1977. He would finish his Troy State career going 94-112, would be replaced by Don Maestri, the man who could be considered Troy basketball. Maestri led Troy State to the Elite Eight in 1988 and the championship game in 1993. He coached Troy State to 4 Division II NCAA tournaments and helped them transition from the Division II level to the Division I level, joining the Atlantic Sun in 1997. They would win at least a share of the Atlantic Sun Conference in 2000, 2002, and 2004. Maestri would lead Troy to their first ever appearance in the NCAA tournament in 2003, after they won the Atlantic Sun Conference tournament and an NIT appearance in 2004. In 2005, Troy moved up to the Sun Belt Conference, winning a share of the conference in 2010, making an NIT appearance. Maestri would retire in 2013 after 30 years at the helm of Troy, finishing as the school's all-time winningest coach, going 501-403. He led Troy to 7 regular season conference titles, a conference tournament title, and the school's first appearance in the Division I NCAA tournament. Maestri would be replaced by Phil Cunningham, who led Troy on a magical run in the 2017 Sun Belt Conference tournament, where as the 6th seed they beat App State, Georgia Southern, Georgia State, and Texas State to earn the Sun Belt bid to play in the NCAA tournament for the second time in school history. They would lose to Duke 87-65 in the first round of the tournament. Although Cunningham led the Trojans to the NCAA tournament, that would be their only winning season under him, and after a 12-18 season during the 2018-2019 season, he would be fired, finishing with an 80-111 record. The man chosen to replace Cunningham would be Scott Cross. Cross played basketball at Texas Arlington and started his coaching career there in 1998, serving as an assistant. Following his mentor Eddie McCarter choosing to resign in 2006, Cross was chosen to be the school's next head coach. Cross would lead UT Arlington to their first appearance in the NCAA tournament in 2008, and finished with a 225-161 record at his alma mater, finishing with the most wins in program history, but was fired after a 21-13 season with the athletic director Jim Baker, leaving the program needed a change in leadership. He would serve as an assistant for TCU before being hired by Troy. Things would not start off great at Troy as they finished the 2019-2020 season 9-22, but would improve to 11-17 in his second season. The 2021-2022 season would start a streak of 20 wins or more seasons that is still ongoing today. Heading into the 2024-2025 season, Troy was projected to finish 3rd in the Sun Belt according to the preseason coaches poll. Arkansas State was the favorites to win the conference, earning 12 first-place votes, while James Madison came in second with 1 first-place vote. The Trojans would earn a first-place vote themselves. Miles Rigsby would be voted to the preseason All-Sun Belt first team, while Tayton Connerway was voted to the second team. Rigsby won the Freshman of the Year award for the Sun Belt last year and led the experienced unit that returned 8 of their top 10 players when it came to scoring in minutes from last season. Connerway won Sun Belt 6th Man Player of the Year, but the team did lose Christian Eugene, who averaged 15.1 points per game last year, and Amir Muhammad. They would add Kobe Campbell out of North Idaho College, who was a JUCO All-American pick. There was a lot of hope and excitement for this team as many felt they could make it to March Madness this year. Troy opened up the season with the MAC Sunbelt Challenge, where they beat Toledo 84-74. They followed that up with a win over New Orleans 78-61, before dropping their first game of the season to number 18 Arkansas on the road 65-49. Following that, they lost to Oregon 82-61, before rebounding with the win over West Georgia to start the season 3-2. In the Trojan Turkey tip-off, they beat UTSA but fell to Merrimack 72-68. They rebounded with an 84-74 win over Eastern Kentucky, or losing to number 15 Houston on the road 62-42. They closed out the non-conference play with blowouts wins over Middle Georgia State and LaGrange College, going to Sunbelt Conference play sitting at 7-4. They opened up Sunbelt Conference play 3-0 to extend their winning streak to 5 straight, beating Georgia State, App State, and Marshall, before falling to Texas State 74-73. They would lose a second straight game, this time to Arkansas State, before beating UL Monroe. South Alabama would beat them 64-63, but a few days later the Trojans would avenge their loss with a 65-55 win at home. That would spark a 4-game win streak where they would beat Southern Miss, Georgia Southern, and UL Monroe as well, before falling to James Madison on the road in a mid-season non-conference game against Miami of Ohio. In the second game of the MAC Sunbelt Challenge, the Trojans would fall 69-62. They would close out the regular season though, winning 5 of their last 6 games, with their last loss coming to Louisiana on February 20th, 72-69. They beat Louisiana, Arkansas State, Coastal Carolina, Texas State, and Southern Miss. They would finish the regular season going 20-10 and 13-5 in conference play, which was good enough to win a share of the Sunbelt Conference title, which ended up being a 4-way tie. It was Troy's first regular season conference title since 2010, and their third Sunbelt Conference title in school history, and 15th conference title overall. Due to tiebreakers, Troy would just miss out on clinching a spot in the semifinals, earning the 3 seed in the Wild Sunbelt Conference tournament. Instead, South Alabama and James Madison would lock up the 1 and 2 seeds. Arkansas State would earn the 4 seed. Although Arkansas State was the 4 seed, they were the betting favorites to win the tournament, while Troy had the 4th highest odds. Heading into the tournament, Troy was known more for their lockdown defense rather than their offense, finishing 3rd in defensive scoring in the Sunbelt this year. Tayton Connerway led the team in scoring with 13.7 points per game, while Rigsby was the only other player on the offense averaging more than 10 points per game. Troy would take on 10 seed Old Dominion in the quarterfinals of the tournament. The Monarchs would beat Louisiana in the second round and upset Texas State in the third round, and App State in the fourth round to set up the matchup. They were a team that was getting hot at the right time, but also was playing in their 4th game in 4 days. Troy would run away with this game, beating Old Dominion 75-59, to set up a semifinal matchup against James Madison. Troy came out on fire and had a second half push to help them defeat the defending champs 79-60, to earn a spot in the conference tournament title game for the first time since 2017. Connerway finished the game with 22 points, while Jackson Fields finished with 21 points on the day. Arkansas State would defeat South Alabama, setting up a 3 seed versus 4 seed matchup, though the Red Wolves had been betting favorites all year long. The Trojans found themselves down 8 with 10 minutes left and would outscore the Red Wolves 36-15 to close out the final 10-07, en route to a 94-81 win. Sunbelt Player of the Year Tayton Connerway exploded for 16 second-half points, which all came during Troy's huge run to close out the game. He finished the game with 21 points and 6 rebounds. Connerway was named the tournament MVP after averaging 20.3 points per game. Rigsby finished with 20 points as well. After the game, Scott Cross told the media, "I want to thank the good Lord for this victory. He shined down on us. What a blessing it is. The last time I was in the NCAA tournament was 2008. I don't take this for granted by any means. This is one of the hardest things to do, especially in the Sun Belt, because there are 14 teams, and they are very close in terms of talent and ability. It's a different league. It's a gauntlet. This will be the 3rd time in school history Troy is playing in the NCAA tournament, and first time since 2017. Heading to Selection Sunday, Troy is projected to be a 14 seed. Troy will be fun to watch in the tournament, and I can't wait for the tournament to tip off next week. What do you think? Can Troy go on a run in the tournament? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos YouTube thinks you will love right here. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.